Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, live once again from the Hatmobile.
Yes. And we are once again answering the questions that we were sadly not able to get to during the course of the podcast from you guys. So, real quick before we get into it, so much for World War III, huh?
Once again, I reiterate, how many times has World War III started now?
I know. It's ridiculous.
I swear, it's like every single time we're all supposed to die in some global catastrophe. We live. Oops.
Yeah. This is why I always say, folks, you want to avoid being Chicken Little. You want to avoid being the person who's going, the sky is falling, because the instant that sky does not fall, your credibility is fucked. So, definitely avoid that. Other than that, I didn't really have much to open and rant with, to be honest with you.
Not really much.
Just the fact that I'm still, oddly enough, still getting headaches. And
yeah, that's not fun.
yeah, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow, because my doctor called me, and they're like, if you've been having this problem for a month, you need to be in here. We need to come up with a much more proactive way of treating this, because your current medication clearly is not working. So tomorrow morning.
Do you grind your teeth at night at all? Okay.
I have no teeth to grind.
Well, this is true. This is absolutely true. Yeah, that was my problem. Mouth guard helped me. So
no,
any of you guys out there who grind your teeth at night,
I do have sleep
apnea.
That's one thing that I think is probably going to happen is I'm probably going to have my doctor, who I'm seeing the doctor, not my nurse practitioner. I'm probably going to ask her to write a prescription for a CPAP finally, and just plug that fucker into my room and be able to finally sleep. So, because I've always been barrel chested, fat or lean, I've always had a giant chest. There is no way that I'm never gonna have a ton of pressure anytime that I'm laying down. It's just gonna be there. Mm-hmm. So, not to mention my sinuses get clogged really easy. So
yeah. That shit sucks.
So yeah, we're going to come up with something a bit more comprehensive to take care of everything. The blood pressure, the anxiety is the big part for me. Having panic attacks in the middle of the night that shouldn't even be happening makes no sense to me. And I think that I don't know what it is. I don't know what's causing it. But what I do know is I don't like it. And if you can medicate the fuck out of me to stop it for a while I try to figure out my own brain, that's what we're going to do. So
get some hydroxyzine in you. Take it as needed.
Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, Hatman, should we start off with politics or entertainment?
Let's start off politics, because it's been a political kind of day.
Okay.
And dear God, we're going to have a lot to talk about this weekend.
Yeah, well, and the thing about this is we're going to have to preface some of these questions with the fact that they were asked before we knew whether or not what Iran was going to do, in an actual response. So, Eclectic 1995 says, "What are your general thoughts on gated communities?" My general thought is I have no problem with them existing. Just don't become a prick if you live in one.
Yeah. My dad actually lives in one. It's an apartment, but it's still gated. I don't really have a problem with them. I haven't known anyone to be really snooty about living in a gated community, although I know that there are people like that out there, but none to my experience, at least. And that's about it. I don't really have strong feelings one way or another.
Yep, there you go. Deimos C says, I think what would encourage more military enrollment is just taxing fast and fatty foods to the point where obesity rates would go down dramatically. I don't know. I want to be thin again. Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Bloomberg tried that. It didn't fucking work. It never works.
We ripped him for his soda tax, his war.
Didn't help. All the stuff
war
that
on
the
soda,
Obamas
yeah.
tried to do during their time period because they did
No.
something similar. It didn't fucking work.
Well, Obamacare also was supposed to do some shit like that, like mandate healthy options for kids' meals and shit, calories on menus,
Yep.
all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But it hasn't really changed anything.
No, it hasn't. Now, basically the reason that it is the way it is, there's two things. First off, some things are just cheaper to produce than others.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a huge stock of wheats and grains here in the United States, and corn too. Well, if you think about it, like most of our farmland makes carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Even the soy
all those
fields.
Corn subsidies, man.
Yeah. So if you keep that in mind, you kind of understand it. The big problem, more so than anything, is that it's self-control. That's the real kicker, is that some people just don't have any self-control. You know, myself included, I am terrible with it. You know, if I do not hold myself to a schedule during the day, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, drink a couple sodas, and then call it. I have to force myself to get up and do some exercise. You know, but that's a big part of it. It's self-control. Because if you work out every day, if you exercise for at least half an hour, you might not have six-pack abs, but your heart will be very different, will work very differently. You know, you'll have more muscle mass on you and things like that, and it helps you carry you through the day, you know? Because some people just don't have the body type where you're going to look like that. Myself included. I know very well. But anyway, yeah, that's a big part of it. The other thing is that a lot of the sugary stuff is just super cheap to produce.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and these companies are very good at producing it cheaply and keeping the level of quality that their customers want. So.
Yep. High fructose corn syrup is ridiculously fucking cheap, and farmers get subsidies for producing shit tons of corn. So naturally, it's going to be inexpensive, and it's way worse for you than straight sugar is.
Yeah.
I mean, good God.
In short, Pepsi is a beautiful fucking science.
Yep.
So I love me some Pepsi. So, but no, in all
Real sugar Pepsi tastes better and actually is better for you.
I'll take either or, to be honest with you. I don't really notice that much of a taste difference. If anything, the real sugar is a little bit more bitter. Just a touch, but not by much. It's enough for me to notice it.
Yeah.
But anyway, when it comes right down to it, though, it comes down to that. Like, and if the answer is not more taxes ever. That's never the answer. It's less taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Less taxes, and get the government out of it. You know, if there were
no nanny states, dear God,
just fuck all that. You know, I'm perfectly fine with considerably reducing the taxes on broccoli and cauliflower and carrots and things like that. Go for it. Reduce those taxes. Make it cheaper to produce.
And incentivize.
Yeah, you want to incentivize. You don't want to do the opposite.
Yeah.
All right. Alpha Incel wants to know thoughts on America targeting 52 Iranian sites if Tehran attacks. I thought that was a really good threat.
Yeah.
You know, that was a really good threat. That and one of our generals saying that we don't want war, we've experienced war, and it is a terrible thing. But if the Iranians want war with us, I guarantee you someone else will be raising their sons.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best
That's
threats.
a pretty good line.
Yeah, that was one of the best threats I've heard in a long time. That was a Mattis level threat. Mattis had some great threats. And that was pretty on par with him. He's the one who coined the term, for those of you who don't know. What is it? Be polite. Shit.
I can't help you out because I don't remember it all.
It's used in It's used in the Meet the Sniper trailer for Team Fortress. Oh, be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet.
Yeah,
Like,
there we go.
like and there's another really good one from him that is, I come in peace. I didn't bring artillery, but I'm pleading with you with tears in my eyes. If you fuck with me, I will kill you all. Yeah, that's a soldier.
That one reminds me of the Gadsden flag variant with the rattlesnake whose rattle is a grenade. I
Yes,
swear to
I
God, I'll
swear
kill
to
us
God, I'll
all.
fucking kill all of us. I love that one. That one,
I love it.
I actually thought about putting that behind me instead of the posters. Which, by the way, I finally
Yeah.
put Guts up behind me.
There you go.
So now
It only took how long now?
I know, right? I kept putting it off, but no, he's up there now along with the rest of them. So, all right, let's continue. Kale Bach wants to know, why do some people seem to look at faith as a dirty word, misunderstanding of what it is or what? Well, it comes a lot from the anti-theist community.
Yep.
Their basic logic is that faith is illogical, ergo it cannot be tolerated. The problem is that everybody has faith to certain degrees. Everybody does.
I mean, you have to have faith to sit in a chair, that it's not going to bust under your weight.
You have to. The one that I always used whenever I was younger to kind of counteract that one is that every time you turn your key in your car in the morning, you have faith. Every single time. Doesn't matter if it's faith in God or what have you. You have faith in something working and being the same as it was the day before. Everybody has it. We have faith in engineers that they're going to be able to do their job when it comes to that car, and that engine will be designed enough to keep kicking on and on and on and on throughout even the coldest of winters. You have faith that your brakes aren't going to fail. You have faith that your lights are going to work when you're trying to drive at night. There's so many elements of a car that if it goes wrong can be catastrophic. So you have faith that it's going to continue to work. The thing is that everybody has that, but it takes a real man to admit that he doesn't know everything, so he has to have faith in something. So takes a real woman too.
It takes a real non-fictional person.
Yes. We'll go with that. Ugly Media wants to know, with a lot of people saying that they have anxiety or coming out as trans or people having some sort of mental illness, would you say there is a rise in mental illness? Absolutely. Absolutely. Statistically speaking, there are more people that suffer from it than ever before.
I would not say that there's a rise in it. I would say that it's more easily viewable and diagnosed. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's when ADD and ADHD first really started hitting the scenes. There was a panic, and oh my God, everybody has it if they're not paying attention in schools. This was when I was a kid, for example, and as a result, they got overdiagnosed. Now I think we're sort of at the point where we can detect certain symptoms, certain trademarks of it, hallmarks, whatever you call it, and it's more easily diagnosable.
Yeah,
I don't think there's something being done, because if more and more people are suffering from mental illness, you do have to ask the question, okay, what's causing it? Yeah. And I don't think there's anything really different that's causing people to be mentally ill. I just think it's
well,
we're more aware of the symptoms.
Yes. Well, I also think that I thought the whole gauging thing was really interesting, because I think that it said more so about, aside from sexual attraction, it said just more so about how we develop. That so much of it is nurture, not nature. Yeah. There is obviously nature there, but so much of it is nurture. And I genuinely think that there are issues within our society that do just drive people fucking insane. You know?
Absolutely.
And we are not being honest about the things that are there. We've talked about it over and over again. But there are also some people that, like, mental illness just develops as time goes on, and it doesn't really make sense why it's there. Like my anxiety problems, I've always had social anxiety. That's why I'm an antisocial person. I've never had it to the degree that I have it currently. I just haven't. It came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, there were days where I would just be panicking for no fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any logical sense. There's a chemical imbalance there, and that's different. So
yeah, I mean, some stuff can get triggered by certain life events, and sometimes it's basically on a timer. Like schizophrenia, for example, develops way later on in a person's life. Well, not way later on, but often past their teens and whatnot.
Yeah.
PTSD, of course, can bring with it anxiety.
Yeah.
You could develop generalized anxiety disorder as a result of PTSD. I mean, that's pretty much what happened to me, for example.
Yeah.
It's a whole host of things. Now, when it comes to shit like transgenderism, that I am absolutely convinced is not related to gender dysphoria at all. I think there are very, very few people who are like legitimately transgender as a result of mental illness. I think a lot of that is the nurture aspect. It's peer pressure. It's this idea of wanting to fit in, because it's something like 4 times or 5 times as many men transition as women.
Yeah.
Does that not have some kind of correlation to this whole men are trash, men are evil, masculinity is literally a disorder, like that kind of bullshit that's been cropping up over the last 25 years?
Yeah, I think that it's definitely related. And on top of that, another thing that I would mention is that the fact that community, the transgender community, is like coming out and saying that it's the new punk rock. It's like, no, listening to punk rock music's a choice. Listening to heavy metal's a choice. Like I've never been in a mosh pit that I didn't choose to go into.
Yeah.
If you have transgenderism, there is a mental illness there. Like, so to say that it doesn't make me think that it's nature. It makes me think that it's nurture.
Yeah.
That's the definition of a mental illness, or of an illness, is the norm has been upset by something that is a foreign invader. In this particular case, it's the set of thoughts and emotions that make you depressed and make you think that you don't belong in your own body.
Mm-hmm. I mean, then again, a lot of trans people do say that it is in effect a choice. I mean, the idea that you do not need dysphoria to be trans. That's been a whole fucking thing. The trans medicalist or true scum debates, and Jesus Christ, I'm having Tumblr flashbacks.
I've had some people that I know that are trans that we've talked about that. It's one person being Iron Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Liz legitimately has gender dysphoria.
Yeah,
and she's very open about the fact that it sucks ass. Blair White's another one. She's very open about the fact that it fucking sucks. Yeah. And those are the ones that I know are being honest. Yeah. Because nobody celebrates their fucking mental illnesses. It's not fun.
No. Mm-mm. It seems like a lot of the people who are dysphoric have a real they have such a vitriolic response to the trenders, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're literally taking an illness and appropriating it effectively.
Yeah.
You're using it as a fashion statement, more or less, and it's not, obviously.
Yeah, if you tried to make leprosy a fashion statement, people would look at you fucking cockeyed. But you try to do it with this, and all of a sudden it's okay. No, neither is okay. You know,
No.
it's not something that's fun to deal with. It's not something people want to deal with. You know, I can
Yeah.
speak as somebody who struggles with mental illness. That if yeah, I would trade a lot of things away to be normal and be normal, man. And I'm looking at one thing I'm
Yep.
looking in the eye is that at going in my mid 30s, I'm gonna have to say to myself, I might have to be fucking medicated to the gills to be a normal human being, and that's not a fun situation. Not at all.
No, it's not. Nope. Nope. It's not. It's not fun to be basically non-functional because your brain is either miswired or there's some kind of imbalance in there, and there's nothing you can do about it except pump yourself full of drugs and hope that it fucking works right again. And even then, it's just temporary. It's not fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not.
something to glamorize. It's not something to brag about. And by God, if you actually try to use it to earn some oppression points, I might try to strangle you.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's not fun to wake up in the middle of the night with your chest pounding, and you're having a panic attack for no fucking reason. You didn't even have a nightmare. You're just like you wake up and it's like the thump, the thump, the thump, the thump, thump, and you're short of breath and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like there was a point where I, like, last week where I got up and I walked throughout my apartment, checking every single room, make sure there was nothing in there. And I'm just like, and I just stopped for a second. And I'm like, again, my heart is pounding to the point where I can barely hear. And I'm just saying to myself, like, oh my God, like, why am I so scared of nothing? It's not something, it doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, we're kind of going in circles there.
Yeah.
Melee Brawler wants to know, if the Democratic Party were to collapse after 2020, what would happen to its members? Would they all become independent? Would they form into a new party to challenge the Republican Party? So, traditionally speaking, when a party goes away in the United States, they actually just become and rename themselves. The Republican Party, as we know it, was the Whig Party.
More or less.
More
yeah.
or less, that's what I would expect would happen, is that they would rebrand as something else.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think the great majority of the Democratic Party would become the Democratic Socialists, and anyone who was more moderate would probably join the Libertarians.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. Bob Fetta wants to know if I've ever thought about doing a stream with Adam Friended. Yes, we have talked about it. I want to sit down with Adam and talk to him about how he got into Comicsgate, because it's an interesting thing with him. Because I knew of Adam and have known of him for years. Through Aiden Paladin and other people, he frequented conversations with Sargon and stuff like that. So he's been on my radar for a while, and yeah, I've had some DMs with him and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind talking to him for a while, absolutely. So yeah, that's something that I want to do at some point in the near future. Brian Gilmartin wants to know, what do you think of the idea of repealing the 19th Amendment? It seems to me like it comes from a place of anger and resentment.
Is this an end women's suffrage joke?
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't think anyone is serious about repealing the 19th Amendment, and if anyone is, they should probably be ridiculed.
Yeah,
because let's be real. Only allowing, for example, property owning men to vote is kind of bullshit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, we've always advocated for equality under the law. If anything, the only sort of change to voting that we would come close to advocating for is raise it back to 21. But I think that's more of an argument of, well, if you're going to have the age of majority be 21 for all these other things, you may as well just go the full 9 and fucking make voting at 21 again.
Yeah.
But I think more than anything else, we're okay with it being 18, because adulthood, 18, you should be able to do whatever the fuck.
Yeah. All right, that's it for politics. For entertainment,
oh, good.
Autis Whisper wants to know thoughts on the latest episode of Doctor Who having a ratings drop. I guess the upgrade is more of a downgrade.
Yeah, not surprised.
I have no clue what's going on.
Not surprised at all. New Year's episode apparently was a 2-parter, and it was like James Bond themed.
Really?
And
it doesn't sound entertaining for Doctor Who.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody's really been talking about Doctor Who much lately, especially since the last season, which was the first one with the new female Doctor, was really, really ham-fisted with politics.
That'll do.
I mean, they straight up like had an episode where they blasted Trump.
Yeah, that's stupid.
For a British TV show, mind you.
Yeah. By the way, let me just say this right now. If you do a female doctor, and I didn't hear that they do this, and you don't have a 5-minute boob gag joke, you're not doing it right.
Even the fucking the Red Nose Day Doctor Who parody, like officially licensed thing, did a boob joke with a female doctor.
You have to. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, if you were to gender swap me, well, first off, if I were to ever be gender swapped, that's death by snoo for your ass. But like the first thing that I would be doing is like playing with my boobs, because I just like, wow, these are new, like that has to be a gag, that like, because that's something that you're not used to. Not to mention, I wouldn't be used to having a lot of extra space between my legs. It would be really fucking weird. That's the sort of thing that you want to do for comedic effect, and I have a feeling they probably didn't do that. So,
oops.
Sorry, folks. Gender flipping is funny. It's a funny joke.
Fucking oops.
All right, let's continue. Koopa's Revenge Home wants to know who would win in a fight between post-crisis Superman and legendary Godzilla. The unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Would it be a stalemate? So, Godzilla, I remember being thrown into the air by Hercules without that much of a problem. So
we're talking legendary Godzilla, brand new Godzilla. The West
said legendary Godzilla.
Yeah.
So
legendary pictures. So the one from Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters.
Yeah. So let me put it this way. Superman is what we in the comic book debating realm back in 10 years ago would call as a shorthand herald level, meaning that they are on par with the highest powers of the Heralds of Galactus. Meaning that they are on par with people like the Silver Surfer, Fire Lord, what's his name, who fought Beta Ray Bill, Stardust, so on and so forth. Basically, massive energy projection power, massive physical power, and the ability to destroy a planet with their abilities. So, Superman, I would say, is not quite as powerful as the Silver Surfer. Probably around Thor, Beta Ray Bill, around that kind of power. And Beta Ray Bill and Thor have destroyed entire worlds with their abilities. Superman's very much capable of doing the exact same thing. He would run through Godzilla.
Yeah, I would still say I think Superman's got more power than a Herald of Galactus, but the point still stands. Superman would, he would absolutely kill Godzilla. I mean, we've seen Godzilla basically dying. in King of the Monsters from the oxygen destroyer.
Yep.
No, Superman would find a way to kill Godzilla.
Well, he wouldn't kill Godzilla because this is Superman we're talking about, but he would render Godzilla unconscious by some means.
He would defeat Godzilla in armed combat. Yes.
Yeah. So no, like that's not close. You gotta understand like how much power superheroes, especially at the high level, have. Like think about just MCU Thor. He took on the heat of a star for what was it, 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And somehow survived, though he was very close to death.
He was, yeah. Had Stormbreaker not helped, or had it not been assembled, he would have died.
Yeah. The like in the comics, Thor could do that without much of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would consider Superman, Thor, Silver Surfer, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, all of them kind of in this club of probably the most powerful heroes in the genre.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of Thor and Beta Ray Bill, what's this about Christian Bale supposedly being cast as Bill?
Oh, good. It's not that he's been cast as Bill. It's that they're talking to him about being in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh.
And the theory is that he would be playing Beta Ray Bill.
I wouldn't think he would be.
I don't know, to be honest.
I think he's going to be a villain if he is cast.
Yeah, that seems more his forte. And I don't know if I could hear Christian Bale's voice coming out of Beta Ray Bill.
I couldn't either. But no, the thing is that Bill is supposed to be introduced in Guardians, I thought.
We're not sure.
Yeah.
Because the next Thor movie is coming before Guardians 3.
Yeah. I mean, I'm psyched that they want to include Beta Ray Bill. I am really psyched about that. But like I don't want it to be in Love and Thunder. Like that no. Give me Bill with a different director.
Well, they did tease Bill in
Ragnarok.
Was it Ragnarok? Yeah.
Yeah. But they also teased the Bi Beast. So I'm not putting my money on anything. And
I mean,
and the man thing. The giant-sized man thing.
Well, shit. Technically they also teased Fin Fang Foom in the first Iron Man, so
Yes, they did. All right.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah. Alpha Incel says, thoughts on the upcoming movie Dune and rumors of wokeness. I'm cautious but optimistic. I've heard it's good. That's all I can really say. I don't chase woke ghosts anymore. It's getting boring. All right. Ricky Joyous says, do you like any of the Criterion films?
Like Criterion Collection?
I'm guessing that's what he means.
That to say, there's a bunch of movies that are in the Criterion Collection or got Criterion releases. The one that I bought most recently was the 1955 Godzilla, or 56. I always forget the fucking year.
Yeah.
The original Godzilla, because it's like a great fucking quality version of it now. I think that's the only one you can get in 1080 or 4K, but it's like a great restoration of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like with me, it would have to be Citizen Kane, obviously, and then Seven Samurai.
Good movie. Did Criterion also do a release of RoboCop?
I think.
I don't remember if they did. Driving else I would check, but
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
Let me see.
Yes,
they did.
Be Oracle for me. They did. Okay, cool.
All right. Ugly Media wants to know, in a completely hypothetical world where crime just stops, how would Batman react? He would know what to do with himself.
Yeah, I can imagine there would be something of an identity crisis there.
Yeah. Let's see here.
And it's like, what's Batman without the Joker?
Pretty much. John Weitzel wants to know, was using your Jew button in the Catgirl video prophetic since you found out about your ancestry? I guess. It's not even completely confirmed, by the way. So.
May as well. Yeah.
And
may as well just own up to it, even if it wasn't, just because of how trolly it is.
I know. But, like, I just don't care. That's the thing about it. It's like, I'm not starting to take Jewish holidays or anything like that. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
All right. Gojira wants to know, with Marvel and DC being terrible, do you think fans should focus on writing high-quality fan fiction that's better than the current canon to continue these characters and stories? No, I would like people to buy my comic instead.
Okay, you high quality and fan fiction.
Yeah, I was about to say I got to pick one there.
Yeah, I think at this point it's better to just create your own stuff. Like don't depend on the intellectual property of others. I mean, you've got way more creative freedom to do whatever you want. That, and also you won't have to fight with people over, what's canon, what's not. If you're talking about, say, Superman, for example, okay, what powers does he have? What limitations does he? You open up a can of worms. I mean, you're never going to be able to satisfy fucking everybody. Yeah. Like even my little outline for how I think the Star Wars sequel trilogy should go wouldn't please everybody.
Yeah.
But
though, to be honest, with Superman, I think you could probably satisfy most people, provided you don't. You basically say Torchasm Vo is non-canon.
Yeah.
That was that's still one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in like Superman. It's like that
was Bendis, wasn't it?
That was Jeff Loeb.
That was Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, it was Jeff Loeb back in like early to mid 2000s. Like Superman at that point kind of sucked. So
no, Bendis did the whole Jor-El helped destroy Krypton bullshit.
Yeah, fuck Bendis, man.
Fuck Bendis. Because Bendis. We haven't said that in a while.
All right. What video game do you think deserves a second chance with a remake?
Ooh.
That's a very good question, because now we have to pick a game that exists and didn't hit its full potential because of technology or what have you at the time. In which case, I mean, there's a few good ones. The Witcher is a really good pick, I think, for that, because it had a story that was very ahead of its time, but the gameplay just was not there.
Yeah,
mostly
Metal
because
Gear
CD
1.
CD Projekt Red was pretty new.
Yeah. Metal Gear 1.
Metal Gear 1's already been remade.
Metal Gear 1 was not remade.
Yes, it was. What do you think the Twin Snake says?
I'm talking Metal Gear 1, not Metal Gear Solid 1.
Gear. I thought you said.
Yes.
I thought you meant Metal Gear Solid. Oh yeah, that would be a very good one to pick. Yeah, the first two Metal Gear games would be really interesting to see completely updated to modern standards. Kind of get the Resident Evil 2 remake treatment.
Yeah, especially after Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah. And then I think one last one for me. I think the first Silent Hill would be a really good pick to be remade. Not the second one. Don't touch Silent Hill 2 ever. But the first one, if you could bring it in properly into the new or modern day, then I would be all over it.
Yeah. Good picks. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to say games like Haze or Dark Void, where they
Those would
had
be
like
good
really
picks. Yeah.
interesting concepts, but just they didn't get fleshed out. And I almost want to say The Order 1886 also, just because it's holy shit.
That one didn't have enough
Like,
time in the oven.
yeah, it really didn't. Like, it could have been awesome, but it's like for all the polish that it had, it felt like it cheaped out in the places where it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And yeah, just missed fucking opportunities all around there.
Yeah.
And
some of the gun physics in that one I thought were really interesting.
Oh yeah.
Specifically, I remember seeing footage of somebody just like getting a blunderbuss, getting hit with it point blank, and then there being like nothing of their arms, and they're just on their knees screaming. I'm like, that's really cool.
That's like some fucking Resident Evil 2 remake physics there.
Yep. All right, final question. What video game title for the PS2 original Xbox era would you like to see make a comeback?
Make a comeback as a franchise?
Yes,
or
he said that his is Dark Watch. I never played that one, so that's not my pick. Trying to think, a game from that era that came out that didn't really make a comeback past it. Silent Hill is the obvious choice, so I'm not going to go there. Time Splitters.
Yep. Okay. You're going to be like, wait, how the fuck do you know about that? Because this is not something that I think anyone would predict from me. Crimson Skies.
Okay.
That fucking game, I played that game a lot with my fucking friends on Xbox. Of course, I didn't have an Xbox, so I had to play it with friends.
Yeah.
But holy shit. Like, the amount of shit that could be done nowadays with it, especially since they've redone like Microsoft Flight Sim and they've had however many Ace Combat games.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Now would be a great time to do another Crimson Skies game.
Yep. It's a pretty good pick, man. All right. Well, that is our last question.
All right. And I'm still not home. Still confined to the Hatmobile.
Yeah, there was something in there that I was going to rant about, but then my tired brain just is like, yeah, maybe later.
Well, we ranted a little bit about mental illness and transgenderism and all that bullshit. So
indeed. Well,
yeah, mini rant.
Yeah, folks, hopefully you enjoyed the show. I do apologize for being as tired as I am. I'm just very worn down, man. But hopefully things will get on the up and up even faster than they have been, because things have been getting better, for sure. So, we're going to go ahead and take off, though. So, my name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, and good God, y'all are going to be in for it this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But until then, we'll see you. Days full.
Days full.